It's about time then. It's time to welcome everybody, our first of the day. He now plays Javi on season 4 of the Netflix series Ozark. Please welcome Alfonso Herrera. Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you, Alfonso?
I'm good. You really know how to roll your R's.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try my best. My half my family's Puerto Rican, so they really try to like make me, as knowledgeable as possible.
That's great.
And how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm here in Mexico City. Mm-hmm. Over here, the weather is amazing. I think you guys are in New York, so try to stay warm.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm layered up over here, just waiting, waiting for it to be spring. So anyways, Alfonso, I'd love to jump right in with you about Ozark because I've heard that you were a big fan of the show before you actually got to be on the show, before you auditioned. How did you get familiarized with the series? When did you start watching it?
When season 1 came out. I mean, I think that the style of the show, the direction, all the performance of each and every single character is amazing. Mm-hmm. So basically it was, I mean, who's not a fan of Ozark?
Yeah, right.
I mean, to jump into one of the most weighted stories in the world was like a dream, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember going the first day, my first scene was with Jason. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was inside the band going to set. And it's like, Alfonso, don't fuck it up. Please don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can curse. Or
no, you're completely allowed.
I was like...
Go right ahead.
I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I mean, I was inside the van thinking that. But on the other hand, I think that those are the opportunities and the responsibility and the pressure that it becomes a privilege. Yeah. So I was very happy with it, and it turned out that people are hating Javi, and that's great.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun part about it, is that getting to play kind of this. Well, we'll get into that a bit later, but getting to play this kind of foil character to, of course, Jason and everybody else in this series must be really fun for you to see, especially fan reactions to you. Tell me a little more about the first day on set. What was that like? I know you said your first thing was with Jason. How did the scene go? Did you have some chemistry right away?
Well, it was actually very easy because having a number one as Jason, he really sets the tone, and in a very good way, because there is a lot of respect and a lot of empathy on set, and specifically having we were shooting in the second wave of the pandemic. We started shooting in November 2020. Mm-hmm. So the restrictions were very, very hard.
Yeah.
So that it was a little bit difficult for us to interact. But even though he was very respectful, even though he was on set, he was not directing that episode. Mm-hmm. It was Andrew Burstein. It's amazing to see him, how he puts his hat of director and start to break up the scene. Mm-hmm. So it's a delight to see him work, and obviously it's a delight to just share set with him.
Yeah. What was your experience in that regard of kind of working with the director, scene to scene, and what were they very hands-on, or did they kind of let you run with it a lot of the time?
Actually, they let us do. There was a lot of freedom, but at the same time, Ozark has like a very, very specific tone,
right?
And not just a specific tone in terms of the acting. Mm-hmm. It's a whole atmosphere that characterizes Ozark in a very peculiar way. Mm-hmm. So the possibility that I had on set, it was great. I mean, Andrew, he was great with me. The only thing that was challenging, not just for me, but for everybody, was, the first block, which was shooting episode 1, 2, and 3. We finished shooting episode 1, 2, and 3 4 months.
Wow.
in 4 months. So it took us a while. But apart from that, we had a lot of freedom. And also talking about Javi, because he's such an unpredictable character.
Yeah.
He's so unpredictable. So there was a lot of possibilities to explore on set. And so I had like 5 or 6 takes trying different stuff. And they were very open with me in terms of trying different stuff.
That's really cool. 3 episodes in 4 months is crazy to me. That's so, I feel like that's really nice for you to like let some things breathe and be able to make your decisions and really take your time on things.
Well, it was a privilege, but at the same time it was challenging because we had to stop many times because of COVID, because of positive cases. So we had to stop for two weeks. But I mean, people go into their TVs, they put their favorite platform, they see their story or the story that they're watching. But it's incredible to bear in mind the amount of people that are trying to make the story work out. So Ozark was really challenging, not for the cast, but for every single person that was on set.
Yeah.
And Laura, Jason, Julia, they made us, because and this is important, Jason and Laura, they have such an amount of power in the industry, but they use that power in order to help everybody. So that's why they call them family.
That's very nice. And I know kind of...
It sounds corny, but it's true.
That's great. And also I mean, at that time period, you know, you're coming into a show that's been going for 3 seasons now, has such notoriety, of course, has like Jason, Laura, like all these great people behind it. How was coming into the show at a later date? Did you find that it was a little difficult to get acclimated, or did you fit right in easily?
It was not hard to just be part of that crew, of that entourage of people, because all the PAs, all the camera department, sound department, they're just amazing. And I was telling them, hey man, why didn't I came in from season 1? And not just because of the story, because it's so amazing to go to set. I mean, it's an amazing atmosphere, even though we're talking about like a very dense, obscure story.
Yeah. Like
going to set, it's such a blast.
That's really, it must be super refreshing given how pretty dark some of the material is you gotta do, you know?
I mean, there were some scenes that are very, very dark, and I'm not gonna go into them because I don't want to create spoilers. But it was amazing, like to shoot very obscure things, and all of a sudden they cut, and then we started just laughing and telling some jokes. It was amazing.
We actually have a question in the chat, and everybody, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to drop them in. But I got one that says, "Tell us about working with Laura Linney specifically."
She's great. I mean, one of my first scenes with her was at the birdhouse. And I remember she came to me and she said, hey, Alfonso, we know you're away from home. You're away from your family. So if you need anything, please let me know. She grabbed my phone. She put her phone like from my cell phone. And she said, if you need like where to buy stuff, groceries, etc., please let me know. Wow. I know very well Atlanta. So that was, and that's how she is. All day. She's very generous. She's just amazing. She's incredible.
That's so wonderful. And also, when you were auditioning, I heard that you had to do a Zoom audition for Ozark. Walk me through that process. Walk me through how you got looped in to auditioning for the show and what that audition was like comparatively to a lot of other auditions you've ever done.
Well, we are used to face-to-face auditions or sending tapes, you know.
Yeah.
That's how we get our jobs.
Yeah.
But it was my first audition via Zoom or in a remote way, and I thought it was going to be challenging at the first time, but it actually, there was some kind of interesting connection with the casting director, such an amazing person. but it turned out very well. And since I got the lines, I started to discover him, Javi, very, very quickly. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but it was very easy to see the little hints and little notes that this character had.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting process. And yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And what were your reactions when you first started reading the Javi character? What kind of went through your head when you were kind of getting a feel for it?
That he's a great guy. I mean, wait. Let me create some space. He is a guy that when I started reading the scripts, I said, this is a guy that I would have a chat. I would have a beer. I would have a glass of wine. I would talk about whatever, no guns on the table, not talking business. But he's a guy that he really likes to live in the present. He really likes to enjoy these little things. And I think those were the notes that I tried to make them more present. Because yes, we know he comes from a cartel. Yes, we know he has a dark and obscure energy.
Right.
But if there's some kind of equilibrium, try to ground him, try to not create a cartoon of a drug lord, that could be more interesting. And it was very easy to see that because the scripts are great and the result is there.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned something about this like stereotypical drug lord character, and I think that's really important to talk about because I feel like with a lot of narco criminal-esque shows, you have the main villain is kind of more of a caricature and kind of more of a stereotypical just like person in that slot. But what differences did you feel with Javi? Because it seems like he is possibly the most human kind of big bad in one of these dramas that I've really ever seen.
Well, I'm going to amplify a little bit what you just put into the table. And I think that not just about Javi, but about the story in general. When you talk about drug lords, when you talk about these type of stories, generally the responsibles live in the South. That's what generally happens, right? So the responsibility in this story in Ozark, it's a little bit more general.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so interesting. That's why it's so grounded. And talking about Javi, well, as I already said, he understands his position. He understands what he wants. He understands that he wants not just a family business. He wants something bigger. He wants something more ambitious. He wants to create a company in a certain way. But at the same time, he has the limitation of the family, of his uncle, of his relationship that it's like a Shakespearean relationship with Omar. But at the same time, there's no male figure with Javier. So the only male figure is his uncle, but at the same time, he's not his father. So there is like no real connection. Even between families, there's like some kind of stronger bonds. And his reactions, his aggressive or his stance that is so solid is because he wants to prove, not just his family, but he wants to prove himself that he is capable of doing things. So that's where his aggressions comes from a very deep insecurity.
Is he a bad person in your opinion? I feel like a lot of people, like audience members, could label him a bad person, I guess, the villain, or if you will. But do you think that he is a bad person?
I think that he's a guy that has vicious, that has virtues. And when I got Javi, when I started studying Javi, I cannot judge the character. That's like a very, very important rule. You cannot judge him. You just need to understand what he wants, what are his limitations, and in order to that, just start working. But he obviously, as I already said, he has a very obscure energy. But at the same time, when it would be amazing to be his friend and to go into a party with him. No guns, no business, no nothing.
Just good times.
Nada de eso.
Yeah, it's good times between friends. I have another question in the chat, kind of related. What did the Javi character leave in your day-to-day life after getting to perform him?
Oh, nada.
Nothing.
Nada. Please.
Not
nada.
one thing.
Nada. That has to stay. That stays on set. Amigo, nothing at all. Nada. Ciao.
Kind of the opposite of that question, too. What parts of Javi can we see in you? Because I know you have to really bridge a connection between yourself and a character. But if anything, from the humor, from the being able to just chat, is there anything from your personality that we can really see in the Javi character?
He likes to have a good time. He really tries to live in the present. I mean, that first scene when he's in the boat, having some pastries, going to the birdhouse. I mean, that is him. Mm-hmm. It's so. And he's not trying to bring the pastries into the birdhouse because he wants to show something. He really wants to have a good time, and he really wants to enjoy great food, etc. But I think that I relate to Javi in that thing. I try to live in the present. I try to enjoy the little things of life, which are in a certain way, the most important things in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, at least I try.
And talking about those things that you try to enjoy outside of filming, what are your favorite things to do?
Oh, I love watching soccer.
Oh yeah. Who's your team? Who's your team?
Well, it depends. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Barcelona fan.
Oh.
So Barcelona, obviously in Spain. Mm-hmm. In Mexico, I follow a team that is called Pumas, which is the team from the University of Mexico, from UNAM. And in the UK, obviously, I follow Manchester City because of Pep Guardiola. Mm-hmm. And right now, I'm following PSG because of Messi, because he's the greatest player
of all time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But basically, I love watching soccer. I love documentaries that talk about soccer. Ooh. There's an amazing documentary that talks about Pep Guardiola that has a lot to do with soccer, but at the same time, it has nothing to do with it because it talks about life. It talks about bringing out your personality, and it's a great TV show.
Have you been to any games?
Of course, and I cannot wait to go back to a stadium once COVID relaxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've only been to one football game in my entire life, and that was it was in Turkey because the Turkey loves their club teams. They got the Fenerbahce in Istanbul and
Galatasaray, right? You went to see Galatasaray.
No, I actually went to see Fenerbahce. My family's a Fenerbahce fan, and Galatasaray is like the older generation of my family really likes Galatasaray, so they go see them, and the younger generation goes to Fenerbahce on the other side. But it's genuinely the craziest time.
Yes, I remember I went to Argentina one time. There's like a very important clásico there, like a very, very important rivalry between Boca Juniors and River Plate.
Oh, yeah, Boca Juniors.
So I was begging for some tickets in Buenos Aires, and I told the guy from the taxi, I said, yeah, can you take me to La Bombonera, which is the stadium from Boca Juniors? And he refused to take me there because he said, you're Mexican. If they hear you, they're going to kill you. I mean, it's like a death sentence if you go there. Because of the amount of rivalry.
Yep.
So because of that guy, I end up with a bar seeing the game with him.
Oh, that's great. No, yeah, you do not want to be in the wrong kind of town with the wrong jersey on. You do not want to do that. Oh. No.
There's also a very big game here in Mexico City. It's between America, which is a very big team here in Mexico that I do not root. He's an arch rival from Pumas. And those games are really, really tough, not just on the field, but what happens outside. that it shouldn't happen, but unfortunately, it's you have to take your precautions every time you go to a game like that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've heard a lot of horror stories from games. I just love the fandom behind football. I think it's just incredible. I love that you're very into it because I've even been like in New York. There's a lot of bars around here that's like they only show football games. I actually went to the Boca Juniors Cafe in Queens one time. It's a Boca Juniors steakhouse, and I always wondered like, why is the steakhouse named after a soccer team? But sure enough, they just show like Boca Juniors games or replays, like live games while you're eating steaks, and it's just the whole thing.
I was in 2016 shooting a show in Chicago, and there was a Barcelona game at like probably it was like at noon.
Oh yeah.
And I was literally walking through Chicago trying to find a bar where I could see the game. And I went into a pub. And I told the guy from the bar, "Hey, can you put the Barcelona game, please?" And he said, "No, they're watching a cheerleader competition." And I was like, "But please, I mean, I have nothing against cheerleading competitions.
No.
I have nothing against them. But it's like, it's just, please." I said, "Man, how much do you want, man? I'll give you $50.
I'll tip real good.
Please, let me see the Barcelona match." And I ended up seeing the review on another place, and I ended up seeing the competition with a beer in Chicago.
Oh boy,
I will never forget that.
The worst part is that bar probably had like 6 TVs that they could have changed.
Exactly. I mean, that is something that I don't understand till now.
Well, we actually have somebody from Barcelona watching right now. They say hello. That.
Hola.
And speaking of, there were a couple more questions that people had about auditioning specifically. One of them being just generally around auditioning for any role that you've had to audition, whether in person or remote. Is auditioning something that you like to do, or is it something that you have to do?
I like auditions.
You like it?
I really like auditions, but I like to face-to-face auditions. It's a safe space. I mean, nobody's gonna see. It's your interpretation of the character that you're trying to get the part. But in the end, it's a safe space. So nobody's going to see besides the casting director that is going to say, "Okay, he totally sucked." Or, and it's just her or him, and that's it. But I consider auditions, like a safe space and a safe place to just to have fun.
And how do you pick your own roles? Because I know you've had so many different roles under your belt from people have been talking about in the chat, The Exorcist versus like Queen of the South and like Sense8 and all these great productions. What jumps out about a role to you? What makes you want to do a role?
Well, first of all, a story that really attracts me. A story that says something. For example, doing Sense8 with Lana, with Lily. I mean, it was incredible. I remember we were in Mexico City in a very important avenue called Constituyentes. It's an avenue that I've passed since I was like a little kid, and all of a sudden see them doing what they know to do at their best. One of the best shows that I've seen on TV, that was Sense8, that I really loved. Oh, yeah. The hypothesis. I really loved the story, and just having the possibility to interact with them, to work with them, was incredible. I remember when I was 16 years old, I skipped school trying to go see Matrix, the first one. Wow. And 16 years later, I was working with them. Wow. Also, first of all, that I need the story. I need to have a connection with the story. I need to have a connection with the character, but at the same time, the story has to say something. There has to be some depth into it, and there has to be something in it where I can create a connection.
Yeah, and definitely, I think a series with depth for sure is Ozark, and I just want to finish up talking about it real quick, but especially the end of part one. I mean, no spoilers or anything for anybody out there, but right, the end of the part one is a bit. Let's just say emotions ran high a little bit. What was it like filming the end of part one, and have you started filming for part two yet?
We already finished everything.
Oh, wow.
14 episodes are in the can. Mm-hmm. And it was tough shooting that scene, that specific scene. I think that which scene you were talking about. Mm-hmm. It was tough, not just for me, but it was tough for absolutely everybody.
I'm sure.
I don't want to go.
No. That's enough. There's actually another scene that I do want to talk to you a little bit about, which was probably one of my favorite scenes from the whole season. It was at the end of the first episode. I'm not going to give anything away, but it's the scene with you and the sheriff. Talk to me about filming that scene. Did you have a lot of fun? It looked like you were having a lot of fun.
Yes. Javi, he was having a lot of fun. He was having his own private party.
I like how you're like, no, Alfonso wasn't having fun at all, but Javi, he was having a great time.
He was having his own private party. It was very easy to shoot. It was very technical, specifically because of the angle of the shot. Mm-hmm. So I had to bend into a very specific space because the camera was outside from the door. So it was very technical, but it was fun. I mean, it was fun being inside Javi's skin at that time because of his own private party.
Yeah. I got a question in the chat. How do you feel? We talked about this a little earlier, but to dive into it a bit deeper, how did you feel about fans' reaction to Ozark, specifically your character? Because at the top you said, everybody hates him and I'm doing my job. But, how did you feel hearing the fan reactions of, oh, I love Javi as a character, or I hate Javi? What was your feelings behind that? I
love it. It means that I didn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
It was... The fans are into the story, so that means that my point of view, my interpretation of what this character could have been was it worked. Mm-hmm. And from time to time, friends, they send me like some interactions and reactions from the fans towards Javi. So I really love that they hate him. It's just it makes me smile.
And to kind of wrap up on Ozark, what can we expect from the second part of season 2 without giving anything away? What are you most excited for everyone to see?
Well, obviously, I think that Chris Mundy and everybody that created this story, they really saved the best for the last bit. Mm-hmm. When I got the last 7 episodes, I just couldn't stop breathing because it's literally mind-blowing what happens at the end. And I really hope the fans enjoy this last bit of the story as much as I did reading it, as much as I did being part of it. And I just can't wait. It's just mind-blowing what they're going to get.
That's great. And to talk about just acting in general, because I know you've been involved in so many projects in Mexico, here in the States, kind of wherever you go, you've been doing a lot throughout your whole career. Where did you find your passion for acting?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story. I was going to be a pilot. That was what I was going to study.
Pilot?
Aviation. Yeah, I was going to study aviation, and I was in a drama group in 2001, and one of a friend, a very good friend, her father is a director in Mexico City, a very well-known director here in Mexico. So she told me, "Hey, would you like to audition for my dad's movie?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. I'm not going to get the part, but yeah, it might sound fun." I went there, I got the part, and all of a sudden, after that, I got invited to another TV project. And every project I finished, I said, okay, maybe I'm going to go study aviation now. Maybe I'm going to stop. So 20 years later, here I am, still working.
So you wrapped Ozark. It's time to get to that aviation, eh? Come on.
Yeah, that's what I thought this morning.
Do you have any favorite projects besides Ozark that you've been involved with? I know you've had a lot of things like Exorcist, of course, Amarte Duele, of course, from like 20 years ago, which is hard to.
That was a film. That was my first project. That one.
Do you have any favorites that you've been able to do?
I love the pilot from The Exorcist. I love the whole story of Sense8. I just did a film that is right now on Netflix. If you have the possibility to see it, I really enjoy doing that story. It's called The Dance of the 41. It's a story that takes place in 1901 that talks about the son-in-law from the Mexican president that was gay, and it talks about an LGBT movement. It talks about empathy. It talks about respect, and yeah, I like to do stage work. I've been doing a lot of stage work here in Mexico City. So yeah, I like that.
That's awesome. Stage work. That's really great. Are you kind of excited to move forward with more stage projects, or what do you have coming up?
Well, I have a story. I remember I was doing a play here in Mexico, and my agents called me and they said, hey, we got you this amazing TV show. And I said, no, I'm going to stay here in Mexico City to just do my play. And they were like, no, Alfonso, come on. And I remember, by the way, hi, Bobby, hi, Kite. Love you guys. And they were like, no, Alfonso, please. This is an amazing opportunity. And I was like, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay in Mexico City, and I want to do my play. And I think it turned out very well. It was a story that we loved. It was something great. Love you, Bobby Kite.
And there is another question I have over here. How did you feel when you won the Ariel?
Great. I mean, it's something. It's the result of a teamwork, a story that worked well, and it had to do a lot with the view from David Pablos, from the director, which, in my point of view, he's one of the best Mexican directors. He's one of the best Latin American directors that we have right now. So I think it's the result of a collaboration, and that's it. And it's over there. I love it.
Oh, it's right over there. Cool.
I mean, there it is.
Oh yeah.
That little guy.
We're screenshotting that. And one more question, kind of on the acting front. I feel like, again, I've said this many times. I feel like you've been involved in so many different projects, played so many different characters, been so many different profiles. What are you excited to learn in acting? Is there anything that you'd like to really sink your teeth into? Is there any challenge that you are really excited to dive into next?
I think that every single project, it's completely different. There are so many things that you can learn on set that has to do with acting, but at the same time, it has nothing to do with acting. Being on set every single day, you learn from your coworkers, you learn from cast, you learn from crew. And if you have the possibility, this is my point of view, if you have the possibility to understand better the language that it's occurring in front of you, you're going to make the life of the producers, of the DP, of the director easier. And because in the end, we're just trying to do our best to tell the story in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So you never end up learning. And I think that if you go into a project thinking that you know everything, that's a downslide. That's like when everything starts to collide, to collapse.
That's great. That's really good advice too, I feel like, for anybody entering something new.
Yeah. I mean, my point of view is that you have to be open. Every single time you go to work, you have to be open to learn, and at the same time to give feedback in a very respectful way. But in the end, it's a collaboration.
Yeah. You know. And with that, I'd love to move to talking a bit about music. We got a great segment planned for you, Alfonso, and there you are.
There it is.
So this is what we call a dream mixtape. We've assembled a bunch of prompts for you, and with each one of these prompts, we're gonna talk to you and build a playlist for you that we're gonna shoot out to all your fans that are watching right now.
Cool, excellent.
So first, before we get started, I would like to know what do you consider your taste in music to be? What kind of music do you like?
Well, it depends on my vibe, on my mood at this time. For example, when I was shooting Ozark, I remember I heard a lot of salsa because it's upbeat and it's so happy, and it made me. I would say that when I was locked in, it was a little bit better when I was listening to salsa, to a happy thing. It was a little bit more joyful.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. Well, let's get started over here. First up, our first prompt of the day. Here we are. If you could pick a song to be the main soundtrack to a movie about your life.
I would say I would pick a Pink Floyd song, and it would be The Wall, because I like it, because I love it, because it doesn't matter if it's Roger Waters, it doesn't matter if it's David Gilmour, I just enjoy that song so much.
Yeah, that's a great song. Are you a big classic rock fan?
I am.
Pink Floyd, the Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Yeah, and also lots of Latin American groups. I mean, I love Soda Stereo. Specifically Soda Stereo. There is an album that I love so much that is the Unplugged from Soda Stereo. It's a very big Argentinian band.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love them.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Let's move on to the next one over here. That's a great selection. Okay, a song that's on all of your playlists. So I kind of have this problem as well. Any playlist I create or any time I decide to put a bunch of songs in one place, I always have one song that follows in every single one, and I just can't seem to get rid of it because I love it so much. What is that song for you?
I would say that there are 3 songs.
Oh, okay, we'll take them.
Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana.
Oh, yeah,
there's a Chilean band, that is called Tiro de Gracia.
Tiro de Gracia.
And I would say from Soda Stereo, it would be Zoom.
Zoom from Soda Stereo. I gotta listen to them more. I love you're leaving them some glowing reviews, so I gotta check them out again.
You have to listen to the Unplugged.
Unplugged. Okay.
That's in my point of view. That's their best album.
How do you usually listen to your music? What platform do you use? Are you like a playlist person, or are you just a physical copy kind of person?
I have physical CDs. I had some viniles, but you don't need them anymore, unfortunately. And right now I moved to another house here in Mexico City, so they are all stored upstairs, so I have to take them out. But right now, in Latin America, I use a lot of Spotify. I make like my personal selections, and sometimes I just listen to random selections. For example, I love listening to random selections from Bossa Nova. I love listening to random selections from Son Cubano. I'm a huge fan of Son Cubano from Buena Vista Social Club.
Oh, yeah.
Ibrahim Ferrer, Omar Aportuondo, Compay Segundo. I'm a huge fan.
Wow. Has music always been a huge part of your life? I know, well, you, of course, were in a band at one point. I know from Rebelde. But
yes.
Has music always been a huge part of your life? And was there a point where you actually wanted to do music besides piloting?
Well, for example, now that you're talking about that part of my life, which was Rebelde and RBD and doing concerts, I loved it. We have the possibility to tour all over Latin America. We went to Brazil so many times. I think I know very well Brazil I can consider myself a person that really knows that country and that really loves that country because of their passion for music, because of the passion of the people.
Yeah.
And it was something that I really loved. And music has been a part of my life since the beginning. I remember when I was 13 years old, doing my homework in Guadalajara, listening to Prodigy or listening to Pink Floyd or and specifically there were two albums from Prodigy. It was Music for the Jilted Generation and Fat of the Land. And I remember I was like doing my homework, volume all the way up.
Oh yeah. You know, Prodigy was the first concert I ever went to, actually.
Where was that? In New York?
It was in Turkey, actually.
Wow.
It was like it was a festival bill, and there were a lot of bands on it. Prodigy was the headliner, but you had Alice in Chains was playing, Jane's Addiction, Nine Inch Nails, and then
where was that? Was like 2003, 2002?
That was actually, it was a lot later than that, surprisingly. It was like 2009, I think, around. Yeah, 2009, 2010, something around. It was on like the Formula One racetrack outside of Istanbul. And it was crazy. It was like the first real concert that I went to, and I didn't even hear of them before. But they came on the stage, and I was like, "Oh my god, who are these guys?" And everybody was like going nuts in the crowd. So
they I don't know what happened to them. I think they.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. They were great.
Yeah, they were really good though. There is somebody asked the question: would you consider singing again for a role in a film or a show?
Yes, of course. Of course. If the part is good, if the story is amazing, I would definitely do it.
Oh, very cool.
I was offered a musical not so long ago, and I really considered doing it in Mexico City, but the times were not in balance.
Yeah. But it seems like your singing career did you quite well. I mean, I saw somebody wrote in the chat that RBD has actually 4 million listeners on Spotify monthly, which is pretty awesome.
Great.
That it's still, the legacy stays on. All right, let's see what we got next. Okay, here we go. A song that reminds you of the set of Ozark. It could be something that you listened to while filming that you really liked, maybe a salsa track that you really enjoyed, or it could even be something from the show.
Well, actually, there are a bunch of songs. At the end of episode 3, there is a song from Killer Mike.
Oh, yeah.
That I loved.
Oh, yeah. Like Run the Jewels?
It's called Untitled.
Untitled. Okay, cool.
That's the name of it. And I have a very good friend now. Her name... I just love her. She's amazing. And every time I saw her, she was like singing Justin Bieber Peaches. So I remember shooting in Atlanta, and I remember, hey, are you there? Yeah. Lost connection? No.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Cool. So yeah, I would say Peaches from Justin Bieber, Killer Mike, Untitled.
That makes sense because you're filming down in Georgia, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. There's some good tracks. Okay, cool. Let's see. A song that you grew up listening to.
I would say an album. I would say the Music for the Jilted Generation from Prodigy and Fat of the Land also from Prodigy.
Was the Prodigy something that you found on your own, or were your parents really progressive and they really liked it?
No, I was actually I was in Houston, and I was at a mall, and I remember I saw it was 1997, and I remember I was walking through a CD store, a music store, and I saw the Crab, and I was like, okay, that looks cool. So I grabbed the CD, I bought it, I loved it, and I just started investigating more about the Prodigy.
Wow. That's really cool. I feel like that's the old ways of like discovering music or so. Like I remember being like 10 years old and going to the CD store in my hometown and just seeing like, oh, this one looks cool. I'll buy it. And just bringing it home. That's what you had to do.
Those were the good old days.
Okay. A song that you just found this year. So within the past month.
I would say that one, Killer Mike, Untitled. I just found out while finishing episode 3, and I think it's a very good climax for the end of that episode.
Cool. Next one over here. The first song you listened to this morning when you got up.
It was a random. Actually, I cannot remember a specific song, but I remember it was a bossa nova playlist, and it was like I think I was listening to Gaetano Veloso.
Oh wow. I love your love of bossa nova is so fun to me. I really like picture you listening to bossa nova several times a week.
It's the best. Before when I wake up, when I'm doing my coffee, I put some bossa nova, I put some son cubano, and it's the best.
Cool. Okay, a song that best describes Javi.
Money from Pink Floyd.
It's all about the money. It's all about the private parties. Yep. There we go. Okay, next few. I think is our last few. Okay, this one, I really like this one. Your favorite sappy love song?
Anything that, any George Clinton song or Parliament, Give Up the Phone.
Oh, Parliament. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's a really good one. Love that selection. Okay, a song you could listen to. Okay, here, I'll put you in a situation. Pick a song you could listen to every day for 1 year. So consider 2022, the rest of the year. You have to listen to this once a day for the whole year. What song could you do that with?
Comfortably Numb from Pink Floyd.
A lot of Pink Floyd. I love the Pink Floyd selections.
Yeah, I love Pink Floyd.
How'd you?
I love specifically the album Pulse and the concert. I think it was in the early 90s. Just love it.
How'd you stumble upon them? Do you remember?
Because of an uncle. His name is Manolo. He lived in Guadalajara. And he introduced me to Pink Floyd when I was very, very little. I was like maybe 7, 8 years old, and I just loved them. And that's how it all started.
Wow. All right, I got a few left for you. Oh, I think this is the last one, actually. Okay, your pre-audition pump-up song. What's something you listen to before an audition that gets you excited?
My lines, me reading lines.
Really?
I actually don't listen to music before going to an audition. I just, it's just me reading lines, and probably that would be the constant song that you would hear every day.
Wow.
Before going to the audition.
How far in advance do you do that? Like, how far in advance do you usually get these lines to rehearse?
Well, it depends. Sometimes you get an audition today and you have to send it right away, like at night. Or sometimes you have probably a week to prepare. And it's better when you have more time to prepare. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's about it. We finished your playlist. It's in the chat right now, so anybody feel free to click on that. That's all the songs we talked about today. There is, just before you go, Alfonso, is there anything you're looking forward to this year that you maybe haven't talked about yet?
Just to... Well, we right now we're not done with COVID, so I just hope my family, my friends, they just stay safe, and at the same time, I hope more people watch Ozark. They can connect with that story, and that just try to stay safe. And for all the people watching this interview, stay safe, stay warm, and if you live in the other side of the world, stay cool.
Yeah. And final thing, one of our moderators on the channel, his birthday's coming up, and he's a really big fan. Would you mind just saying happy birthday, Max?
Max, feliz cumpleaños. Te mando un abrazo.
There we go. Thank you, Alfonso. You've been such a joy to chat with all day, and good luck. Have fun watching football the rest of the week.
I'll try. Take care.